Hello friends, in the previous lecture we have seen that what is meant by tautology, what is meant by contradiction and what is meant by contingency. So let us go to take example on that tautology, contingency and contradiction. We have to check that. So let us first question. Show that negation Q and P implies Q. Show that negation Q and P implies Q whole bracket implies negation P is tautology. Okay. What is your question? We have to show that negation Q and P implies P whole bracket implies with negation P is a tautology. So that is another solution. We have to make the table for that proposition. So we have given proposition P and Q. So there are two propositions, that means 2 raised to 2. So there are 4 rows. Okay. So make the table. First column for proposition P. Okay. Second column for proposition Q. Okay. Third column for proposition negation P. Next, fourth column for proposition negation Q. Okay. Next column for proposition P implies Q. Okay. Next column is P implies Q. Next column is negation Q and P implies Q. Okay. And your last column for your whole proposition, that is negation Q and P implies Q. Bracket complete. Whole bracket complete implies negation P. Okay. This is your table. Okay. So in that table there are 4 rows because 2 proposition, that means 2 raised to 2, that is 4 rows. Okay. Okay. This is your table for your given proposition. Okay. So in that your first column for proposition P, so there are first 2 values T and remaining last 2 values F. Okay. For proposition Q, so there are alternate values like T, F, again T and F. Okay. For negation P, take the negation of proposition P. Negation of T is F. Right. Negation of T is F. Negation of F is T. Negation of F is T. Right. Again for negation Q, take the negation of Q. Negation of T is F. Negation of F is T. Negation of T is F. Negation of F is T. So next is we have to find the value of P implies Q. That is P implies Q. So in that conditional statement, if the value is TF, if the value is TF, first value is T, second value is F, that is TF, then its result value become F. And in the remaining cases, take the value is T, right? So its value is T. Next is we have to take the negation Q and with P implies Q. That is, we have to take that 2 columns, that the and mean conjunction. In that conjunction, TT is T, otherwise F. So we have to check that where is TT. So last row is TT. That means its value is T. In the remaining cases, its value become F. Right. So its value become F. Next, your last column is negation Q and P implies Q. Whole bracket implies with negation P. That means this column and this negation P column, we have to take that 2 column is implication. Right. In that implication, we have to check that first value is P, second value is F. That is TF implies F value. That is TF is result value is F. So this is first and this is second, right? So we have to check that TF. Here is T and here is F. So TF is F. So the no is TF, right? So all the in the remaining cases we have to value is T, right? In the implication TF is F. We have to check that there is first is T and second is F. So there is no F in that second case. And for first is T. So in the remaining case its value is T, right? So in your last column all values are T. That means your proposition is a totalizer, right? So that is last column of truth table. Last column of truth table contain all values is capital T, right? In the last column contain all truth value is capital T. Then given proposition is tautology. So given proposition is a tautology. Hence proof. Okay? This is example. When all values of the last column is T, then given proposition is tautology. If all values are FF, then given proposition is contradiction. And if all values, that is, if the given proposition is neither tautology nor contradiction, that is, given proposition is neither tautology nor contradiction, that means in the last column there is T and F, both values are accurate, then the given proposition is contingency. This is our example on tautology, contradiction and contingency. So let us now take some logical identities. We have to do the now. The next point is we have to study same logical identity. Already we have to do that in your previous chapter, that is in chapter 6. We have to do that your identity by using the operators, right? So that our next point is logical identity, right? Next one is logical identity. So first identity, first one is commutative law. First one is commutative laws. Okay. First your identity is commutative laws. Okay. What is the identity? Your commutative law is P and Q is logically equivalent with Q and P. Okay. So your logical identities for P, Q are, if there is proposition P and Q, then your commutative law is P and Q is equivalent with Q and P. Similarly for or, that is P or Q is logically equivalent with Q or P. This is your commutative law. Second law is distributive law. Second law is distributive law. Okay. Second law is distributive law. If there is P, Q and R are three propositions, so then distributive law is P and Q or R is logically equivalent with P and in bracket Q or R is logically equivalent with P and Q or with P and R. Okay, that means we have to distribute this AND statement on that Q and R proposition, and middle one we have to take that R. Similarly, if the alternate, you can replace AND by or and or by AND, that is P or Q and R is logically equivalent with P or in bracket Q and R is logically equivalent. We have to distribute this R on Q and R. That is P or Q, middle is, and last one is P or R. This is your distributive law. Okay. Now third one is your identity law. Okay. So the third one is identity laws. Third one is identity law. Okay. So what is identity law? Identity means your result value is identity. That means P and T. Okay. P and T is logically equal to P. Okay. That means P and T is logically equal to P. That means if we have to take value of P is T, and in AND TT is T, and in the remaining cases value is F. So if we have to take value of P is T, then T and T is T, and this value is T. And if P is F, then F and T is F. That means your identity P and T is your identity, that's P, right? So similarly, P or F, okay? P or F is logically equal to P. Okay. So in that R, if we have to take the value of P is F, and in R, F or F is F. In the remaining cases, its value is P. That is, if P is T, T or F is again T. Okay. So this is your identity law. Next, fourth one is negation law. Fourth one is negation laws. Okay. So fourth one law is negation law. That is P or negation P. P or negation P is logically equivalent to T. Okay. That is P or negation P is logically equivalent to T. That means if we have to take the value of P is T. Okay. T or negation of T is F, and T or T is T. Similarly, P and negation P is F. What is the negation law? P or negation P is residual value is T. So we can take either value P is T and F. Similarly, P and negation P is result value become F. If we want to take the value of P is T. Okay. T and negation of T is F, and T and F. T and F is F. Because in AND TT is T, in the remaining cases it's F. This is your negation law. Okay. So the next fifth one. Your fifth one is associative law. Associative law. What do you write associative law? If P, Q, R are three propositions, that is three statements, then P and Q and R is logically equivalent with P and Q and with R. Okay. What is associative law? That means P and inside bracket Q and R is P and Q. Take the first two bracket and with R. Similarly for the injunction, there is R. If P or Q or R is logically equivalent with P or Q or with R. This is your associative law. Okay. So next law is domination law. Okay. That is law number 6. That is your domination law. Okay. So next law is 6 number. That is domination law. Domination laws. Domination means we have to dominate. What is this domination law? That is P or T. P or T is your capital T. Okay. What is your domination law? That is P or T is capital T, and P and F is logically equal to F. What is your domination law? That means we have to dominate it here. If we have to take the value of P is T, then T or T, right? T or T is T. because in all F is F, in remaining cases T. That means T or T is T. Similarly, if value of P is F, then F or T is also T. Similarly, second one, if value of P is F, then F and F is F, because in and if TT is T, in the remaining cases F. If value of P is T, then T and F is also F. This is your domination law. Okay. So now the next law is law number 7. That is double negation law. Law number 7. That is a double negation law. Okay. What do you mean by double negation law? That is negation of negation P, right? Negation of negation P is logically equivalent with P. Right? Negation of negation P is logically equivalent with P. Okay. So the next law number 8. Law number 8. That is De Morgan's law. So your law number 8, De Morgan's law. Already we have to study all these law in your set relation. That is by using the operators. Right? In set A, B, C, using that we have to use here proposition P, Q and R. And in that set chapter we have to use the sets capital A, capital B and capital C. Okay? Like the sets. Okay? So your law number 8, that is De Morgan's law, and we have to use their sets. That is, we have to use in that set chapter intersection and union operators. Also, we have to use symmetric difference operator, and in that your logical identities. In that your second chapter, that is propositional logic, we have to use the proposition P, Q. In case of ABC, we have to use the proposition P, Q and R. And in case of your operator, there is intersection and union. And here this operator is and or conjunction, right? So next law is De Morgan's laws. Okay. So what do you mean by De Morgan's law? Okay. What is De Morgan's law? P and Q is bar. Okay. So P and Q is bar, or we can take its negation. De Morgan's law, that P and Q is bar. In case of bar, we can replace this bar by negation. Okay. So negation of P and Q, is logically equal to negation P, and negation of and is or negation Q. Okay. And second one for and we can replace by or, that is negation of P or Q is logically equivalent with, what is this one? Apply the negation inside the bracket, then we get negation P, or negation is and negation Q. This is law number 8, that is De Morgan's law. Next, law number 9, that is your absorption law. Okay. Law number 9, that is absorption. That is absorption law. Okay. That is law number 9, absorption law. Okay. So law number 9, absorption law. Okay. So what is this law? P or Q. Okay. P or Q is logically equivalent with P. Okay. So P or Q is logically equivalent with P, because we have distributed P inside. Then P and P is again P, and P or with P and Q is P or Q, and then this will become P. Similarly, P and Q is logically equivalent with P. These two are your absorption law. Then we have to absorb this value. We have to absorb this value, then we will have your P only. And your last law number 10. Law number 10, that is idempotency law. So law number 10, idempotency law. Okay. So law number 10, idempotency laws. Okay, so law number 10, idempotency law. What is that law? That is P and P. P and P is logically equivalent to P, and P or P is also logically equivalent to P. These are your 10 laws. These are your law are very simple one. Okay. So I hope these all laws we have to understood. In that class we have to take the example in the next lecture. So I hope all parts we have to understood. So remaining part we will study in next lecture. Thank you.